Hello, Pisces. How are my Pisces this evening? So I know we're well into August. If you remember, the July readings went up and through the Lionsgate portal, which was just fully opened yesterday and is now beginning to close. And so it'll be closed on the 12th, right around there. And this is going to be a reading for what your energy is going to look like, what your journey is going to look like. Once the, okay, cards are already wanting to jump out. Once the, yeah, once the Lionsgate spits you out the other side. Let's see what life is going to look like for Pisces. All right, so what I'm doing is a little bit different. I'm just doing 2 decks. I'm going to start with the Magdalene Oracle. I'm doing the same 2 decks for all signs. Just makes it easy peasy. And we're going to start with an overall energy card for the reading, okay? So this is going to be a message of what, just kind of a really succinct message for what August 12th through possibly up through September 15th is going to look like for you, okay? So give me an overall message for Pisces, please, in their highest good always. Overall message for a Pisces. Eternal embrace. That's a beautiful card to start with. Holy shit. Really good, Pisces. Like, I love that. We're gonna get going because I think as we go, it'll clarify that for us. You know, I could read a lot into it. Obviously, for some of you, this is a divine counterpart, you know, and a real deepening of a relationship or the beginning of a relationship for some of you, okay? But for some of you, this is just within. Although I do think even those of you, okay, so we can't create the divine union without also working on the divine union within, right? So a lot of you are going to be working on that divine union within in order to call in a divine counterpart or in order to deepen an already existing relationship with somebody that you believe is your divine counterpart, okay? And so, and some of you are just going to be deepening that relationship, okay? But you've already called that person in, you're going to be deepening that relationship. So that's a beautiful overall energy. So now I've got this Fairy Forest deck, and we're going to start our story grid like I normally do. We're going to do early, mid, late is what I want to do. And again, like I said, the portal will be closed on the 12th. This energy will begin then-ish, right? It's nothing is set in stone, right? Like it could be different for you and you could be elsewhere. I just wanted to get that one, tame that one. This could be already starting for you, and it is the 9th as I'm recording this, okay, of August. So we just hit yesterday. Boy, anybody else just wrecked yesterday? Holy shit. I did not move much off the couch except to, and I had a lot of, I felt like, I told my husband, I felt like I was on the upswing, which is good. I felt like I was on the upswing of a really nasty stomach bug, even though I never had a stomach bug. Yesterday, I felt like I had a really bad stomach bug, and I was, you know how that you kind of have that really kind of hollow, raw, empty feeling in your whole torso, lower torso, after you've had a stomach bug. That's how I felt all day yesterday. Gone today, completely gone. Although eating is still kind of tricky. I'm trying to figure out what I can eat without, I get severely bloated no matter what I eat. Well, it's not true. I think I know what the culprits are. The universe is asking me to cut out pretty much all processed food, and I am resisting because it's asking a lot. It's asking a lot, universe. So apparently I'm being asked to live off of my own homemade trail mix and raw fruit and vegetables. So, dudes, it's a tough one. All right, let's get the grid going early, mid, late August, or for this time period for Pisces in their highest good, please. Yeah. Dang. Ooh. Let's do this. So the first one, which you might already be in, or will start like the 12th-ish, right? I'm not going to say exactly. Number 20 breaks down to 2, which is beautiful. 2, a lot of time, 2 is another divine counterpart number, right? It also is you connecting to your own intuition and highest self, okay? So it's internal, external, as within, so without, right? We can't have one without the other. You cannot cultivate and work on, hello, cat, the inner balancing and union without attracting that on the outside. And it's whatever you're attracting, like not everybody is here for a romantic divine union. It could be business partner, it could be bestie, it could be sibling, it could be parent and child. Okay. But you're definitely going to be cultivating this eternal embrace. I love that phrase, but more what's coming is a divine union, okay, within and without. So 20, unseelie queen, glamour, opulence, hubris. And so you already have a queen coming in. I'm not going to really pay attention to those sub messages yet while I tune into this, because what I'm getting is with her just really pale white skin, there's a lot of purity coming in for you. I think you have had a lot of things in your life where you have felt kind of sullied, kind of, you have felt maybe ruined. It's not quite the right word. It's more like you're not deserving because of some things that you've done or that have happened to you in your life. And so that purity is coming through now, and you're going to start remembering that's just a story, and that is not you. That is not who you are. We've all done things we're not proud of. We've all been the narcissist. We've all, in past lives, even we've all been the murderer. We've all been the rapist. We've all been the child molester. Okay. I don't want to hear anybody saying, oh no, I could never. We've all done it. Okay. Especially if you're a light worker, you're here in this culmination life, they're calling it, where you get to decide after this, you're going to be done with this. You want to come back in 5D and just enjoy. Great, do that. You want to go elsewhere? This is the time. Your contract for this job is almost at an end. That's why this is the culmination life. It's the culmination life because you've done everything. You've experienced everything on both sides, dark and light, okay? But this purity is really coming through now for you. And even the redhead, this vibrant redhead comes through as very divine feminine energy for me too, because I'm very much in that. Well, the Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, that was interesting. I think a bird just hit my window. The Yeshua, it's midnight. The Yeshua, Mary Magdalene kind of controversy, the heresy, the story was one of the things that helped, that ushered me into my awakening, onto my awakening journey. And so whenever I see redhead, I think Mary Magdalene, because she's believed to have been a redhead, and just the perfect example of divine feminine. I mean, they tried to write her out, and now she's coming back with a vengeance. Okay. I want you to think of, the Christ consciousness is not just Jesus. Okay. The Christ consciousness was intended to be the two of them together in an eternal embrace, in the divine union, because they are divine counterparts. They realized real quick that maybe just sending one couple wasn't quite enough. And so that's why so many of us are here now in force. But really, I actually kind of think there were more than them, and they just didn't make it, right? It just, the time, the planet was not ready. But if we hadn't done it, if they hadn't come, then we wouldn't have learned all that we know, right? We wouldn't, even though they warped the story and they tried to write her out of it and tried to make it all about this divine being that we could never be anything like, even though he kept saying himself that we are just like him. He is no better than us, that we would do everything he does and more. He knew who we were. He was here trying to show us who we were and remind us, but he was here with his divine counterparts. You have a lot of divine counterpart energy coming in, Pisces. I'm not going to lie. But let's go to the next. So that's what's coming through, is this purity and divine in the divine feminine. So I do feel like, Pisces, lots of womb healing. Lots of womb healing going on for you. I feel like you've already started this. It's not going to wait till the 12th. This is something the Lionsgate portal is doing for you, is really amping up that feminine healing for you. You have had, for a lot of you, and it's funny because I do have a soul sister who I know for a fact is a Pisces, and I don't necessarily intentionally think about her, but this is definitely resonating for me for her, is that anything that maybe made you feel ashamed of being a woman is what you're healing right now. Okay, anything that made you ashamed of having it, guys, I've got some purging going on. Pardon me if I dab at my eye throughout. Anything that has made you ashamed of your female parts. Okay, that's healing now. That's what's coming through. And you know what I love? Glamour, opulence, hubris, but I almost feel like it's more like you've been a very fierce feminine energy, but now it's time to get in touch with your more gentle feminine energy. You've been fierce because you have been through so much, because of your womanhood, because of the body you chose to fulfill here in this life. And so you've been fierce to survive, out of mere survival, out of pure survival. And it's time now to get in touch with your more gentle feminine side. Okay. Yes, you've got the fierce down, Pisces. You've got it down. You own that. You're going to teach that to the other signs, right? Who don't have that naturally. You are naturally fierce feminine. Now it's time to find that gentle feminine, okay? That more motherly energy, okay? All right, the next one, which is the second row, which is going to be the last week of August-ish, okay, right around there. 26, which breaks down to 8, the merciful one, compassion, release, relief. I love that this is coming through. See, so this is your fierceness, right? And this purity is now shining through. That's why her skin is so pure white. This purity is shining through. Mary Magdalene was a very fierce feminine as well, but she had her gentleness balanced, right? Oh, goodness, yeah. Excuse me. And then coming in very feminine, very soft energy. Like, look how soft she is compared to this fierce energy, this sharp kind of in your face. Here's a very soft feminine energy. Okay. So that's what you're coming in contact with. That's what you're cultivating. That's what you're healing, this shame around being a woman, so that you can feel this feminine. I'm not saying you're shedding your fierceness. You are always going to have that. Okay. You're not going to lose that. I promise, because we'll need that for quite a while. And so the merciful one, compassion, release, relief. I don't feel like that resonates with me at all for you, Pisces. We're just going to look at the picture more so than just a very feminine, beautiful, soft energy, but yet very, very powerful. Okay. People mistake gentle and soft and feminine with weak, with dainty, with delicate flowers, right? You know better. And look at her crown. So I want you to notice, yes, this fierce, beautiful energy has served you very well, but it has kept you from owning your sovereignty, really. And look at this, how the crown is kind of just beginning to materialize and form on your head, because you are finally found that gentle side. Okay. I love that. So end of this period, end of August into September, possibly all the way to the 15th, 45, which is a 9. I love that, because you got 8 and the 9. You are moving forward. You are moving to the end of this healing cycle. Okay. You're moving forward into the next evolutionary phase of your life, but it's the ancient elder experience lessons. I love this card because she is also so much divine feminine, so much Mary Magdalene, which always is divine union, divine counterpart energy. But Mary Magdalene is known to have been in possession of a red book, a book covered in red leather. And if you look very carefully, it's a dark red, but she is holding a dark red book. And, you know, back then they were all covered in leather. And if you can see, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but it definitely looks like leather. And she is holding that book close. Look how tightly she's holding that book. That book is coveted. That information is coveted. You know what the book is said to have been? It's called the Book of Love, and it was the book of Jesus. Her husband, her divine counterpart, wrote this book. Now, she wrote her own. She absolutely wrote her own after, like before she passed. Okay, she wrote it later in her life. And I know this gal is coming through, you know, and it could be, well, let me think, because she's coming through as really, really old. Mary Magdalene did live a very long time because she knew how to do that, because she lived a pure life. Is that her own book? No, I am definitely getting that it's Jesus's book. Like I said, she did write her own equally as as amazing, right? As mind-blowing. But she is holding, it's like she's holding her divine counterpart very close, even though he is not in the world anymore. So if you think of this as Mary Magdalene, there's her guides, her divine guides. You know, they had to have had the best of spirit guides that there are, right? Owls, very wise, seriously, the wisest of the guides coming through next to dolphins. They're the wisest. And so if you think of this as a very old Mary Magdalene, and you know, a lot of times redheads do go, their hair turns white, right? Just like everybody's. And she is holding that book that her divine counterpart created as if it were him. She's holding that so close. And it's another example of this eternal embrace. Like seriously, this energy is, it's really crazy how much of this divine union and counterpart and masculine and feminine in the physical is coming through for you, Pisces. I hope this is resonating with all of you. You know, and apply it where it works, but don't force it to resonate. Okay. Don't force that square peg into the round hole. If this does not resonate with you, then it's not for you. Go watch your sun, moon, rising, Venus. Okay. Watch all four, get the full picture of what's coming for you. Okay. That's important. If you're interested in the finding your chart, what it would be if we had the 13 zodiac system, which I base all of my readings on, although if you don't subscribe to that and you are full into the 12, then these readings will apply as well. Don't worry about that. I set the intention that they apply to whoever is called to watch them. Okay. It doesn't matter if you like the 12 or if you like the idea of the 13. But if you're curious, there is a link in the description of a website to go to generate your chart, what it would look like in the 13 zodiac system. Okay. Anyway, so let's get clarification on these. I want a clarification on this queen at the bottom. I love that you started with a queen. Like you started with this beautiful queen. Like forget for the moment, this is a totally separate message, right, than what was coming through before. But you start with this beautiful queen, but she's a maiden. She's a maiden queen. And then you end with this amazing crone who, if we go, you know, if we continue on with the energy of her being Mary Magdalene was a queen. She absolutely was a queen. That's why she was always adorned in red robes. And the Magdalene, you know, a lot of people say Mary was the title. I've heard other people say Magdalene was the title. I tend to think Mary was the title. It was a title. It was a name given. It was a first name given to all little girls born in the royal line. Okay. And Mary, Mother Mary being Jesus's mother, he was a king. She was his mother. She was a queen. Okay. So anyway, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Let me clarify this queen, please, for the early period for Pisces. I almost said Scorpio. The Fairy Norn 31, planning, patience, cooperation. Okay, let's look at this for a second. You see, she is embroidering. Sometimes I think that's a mirror. That could be a mirror. I'm going to look at that for a second. But the picture is actually her embroidering that needlepoint of the unicorn. Okay. And she's a tiny little, like, look, she's sitting on a toadstool, on a mushroom. She's a tiny little fairy. Okay. Embroidering a beautiful unicorn, a sleeping unicorn. That's interesting. Why is the unicorn sleeping? I love that it's at night. We've got the fireflies, the lightning bugs lighting her way. That's always a message of guides, of fairy guides on the other side of the veil, right? The veil's gone, you guys. The veil's gone. They are here. We're just not ready to see them yet. And when we are, they're just going to be there and it's going to blow our minds. Okay. So she's wearing purple. She's got purples and blues, which is beautiful. Throat chakra, a lot of purples and blues. In fact, it's outlined in purple, which is crown, right? But I love that the unicorn is sleeping. She's embroidering this. I feel like once she's completed the picture and she's only got this little bit down here to be, and then she's done, that his eyes will open. I need to look at this for a second. So if we look at it from, oh, my back's starting to hurt. I'm sitting on a yoga ball. It's not always comfortable, not for a very long time. So if we look at it from this purity, this divine feminine, this softer divine feminine coming through. Yeah, think about that. It's just confirming that even more, because if you think of the myth of unicorns, what is the myth? The myth is that they only show themselves to virgins, right? To virgin women. are the only ones who can see them, touch them, ride them, communicate with them. They're the only ones who could connect with them at all. I don't know how true that is. That's just what's coming through as the message. I remember that kind of myth growing up, knowing that, even before I knew what a virgin was, right? You always heard it was like a pure maiden could come in contact with the unicorn. I do feel like a unicorn, though, is much more powerful than we give it credit for, right? It comes with, it's also more pure. Like there's just so much purity in this first. I do feel like you're really tuning in to your pure divine feminine. And that is not weak. Remember, that is not a weak feminine. It is just your feminine underneath all this shame that you've carried around your whole life. Shame about being a woman. Okay. Shame about maybe the decisions you've made based on things that have happened to you, based on your trauma, based on your baggage. Okay. And so I love that she's teeny tiny. There's a message there. It's like you need to shift this belief that a gentle, soft feminine is a small energy. It's not. She is embroidering this. She is creating the power. She is manifesting this power coming through. But guess what? It's not quite ready to be awakened yet. And so I feel like you're going to be tuning into this softer, gentler feminine, and you're going to want to unleash it, right? You're going to want to kind of marry it to the fierceness and marry it to the masculine energy within and just kind of let it loose in the world. And you have to be smart about the timing. Like, again, you're going to know, you're going to do it in perfect timing, I promise. But I just think that that message is that the world is not quite ready for you to do that yet. Okay, and you're not, because you need to really sit with this gentle, soft, feminine energy and remind yourself what it feels like. Remind yourself what it feels like to be not weak, but a very soft, motherly, pure energy. Okay, remember that you are pure. Everything that's happened to you that has affected the decisions you've made, that is just a story. That is just crap piled on top of the pure you. You are a diamond. Okay. And this process is us washing the mud off the diamond. Okay. So there's a lot going on in this picture. Again, it's 31-4, which is cool because it's double. It goes from 2 to 4. Yeah. Planning patience. Okay. So that's where the patience comes in. Like, that's why she's just taking her sweet time. She's like, taken a minute to really think about it. But the fact that the unicorn's eyes are closed is a big message that you need to be patient with yourself as you get to know the pure part of you again. Okay. Because that's where the divine union really comes together. Like, even if you're in union right now, it's not easy. It's not easy because you both have a lot of crap, right? You both have a lot of shame around who you are, around being who you are, around your life, around, everything about you. You are ashamed of yourselves for whatever reason. You have some self-loathing. Couldn't say that. You have some self-loathing, and it's largely around the physical body that you chose to come in with, and the parts and the way you've been treated because of that. And that you're healing. And so coming in to this energy of this gentleness, of this just being gentle with yourself, being gentle with everybody else, being gentle with strangers that you come in contact with, just really cultivate, like, yeah, again, you're not losing your fierceness, but you are remembering that fierceness isn't always necessary. Okay. And it's not the core of who you are. The fierceness comes about from survival. And again, we're not getting rid of it because we still need it as long as we have physical bodies. It's not a bad thing. It's a very badass warrior goddess thing, right? We're not going to need it forever, though. We're not going to need to be warriors forever. Okay. We're all badasses. So, what is the saying? If everybody's, I'll never forget that from The Incredibles. I remember when Dash says, his mom keeps saying, everybody's special, Dash. And he says, that's just another way of saying nobody is. And I think that's actually true in a way, in a positive way. Like, yes, everybody's special, which means we are all special. It doesn't mean that no one is special. It just means that everybody has their own unique way of expressing love in this world, everybody. And we have to let go of this idea that we have nothing to contribute because of what we've been through. That maybe we have to, well, it's got a lot to do with you realizing that you don't necessarily have to go out in the middle of nowhere, and this is metaphorically, but you don't necessarily have to go out in the middle of nowhere to find your path, okay? You're not an outcast. You are not a pariah. You are not the leper in this situation, okay? You definitely belong here. You're meant to be here. You chose to be here. It's just the shame around who you are as a woman, or even as a, yeah, I guess if there are men watching this, it's going to be shame around your divine feminine energy, something about your divine feminine aspect, okay? So delve into that a little bit, whatever that means for you. I do feel like, I apologize if I tend to feel like I'm speaking to women. Most of the people who watch these are women. Not for long. All right, let's get a clarification on this merciful one in the middle, please. The soft feminine. Oh my God, you guys, you just got the twin flame number. Okay, 22 oath. 22 is also the divine feminine number. But it is, for me, in my readings, personally, it comes through as the twin flame number, okay? So divine union in its finest, okay? You don't have to resonate with the term twin flame. All I'm saying is huge, huge divine counterpart, divine union energy coming through, okay? There goes my throat. Deep truth. It says oath, promise, pledge, contract. And I need to tell you, this is coming through as your anchor card of the whole grid. It's right in the middle. Everything else is emanating from this energy, okay? This is the bride energy, rebirth, new life, big changes, brand new path, okay? Coming with a divine counterpart, okay? For most of you watching. I do feel this very strongly. I'm not going to say any more about that right now because we're going to get even more clarification because that is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's just being confirmed over and over and over again. And it's interesting too, because you got 2, 4, and then 8, 4. You got 2 4s. Very cool. I mean, 22, we don't break down, I know, but if we're looking at it like that, 22 is a master number. We don't break it down, but it is a 4. And it goes with the 31 right below it, which is also a 4. And they're both purple trimmed. Isn't that interesting? They both have the purple trim around them, and they're both very soft, feminine energy. All right, let me get a clarification for this ancient woman clutching the book. And then we're going to switch over to the Mary Magdalene deck, I think, for that. I mean, seriously, there's a reason I chose that deck, and I knew there was. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. 9, the wild hunt, and you got 2 9s right next to each other. Okay, you got this beautiful ancient crone, and then who's the 9, and then 9, the wild hunt. Excitement, frenzy, journey. You are coming into such an exciting time in your life because you're going to be healing this big, 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 big shame. Okay, let your purity come through. Let yourself feel, dare I say, like a virgin again. You know, it is said, I don't have personal experience with this, but it is said that when we find our divine counterparts, it is like nothing else. And it is like being a virgin again, okay? Not necessarily, yes, in the bedroom, but not necessarily that, right? It's in every aspect of the relationship. It just is so new and is so great. So let me look at this. I love how they're very similar. Look at that. They both look like they're wearing wedding dresses. They both have wings. It's very white and crystalline. Ooh, that's a good one. You know, you're really, lots of DNA transformation going on. Lots of transformation for you from the carbon-based to the crystalline-based. I mean, it is just happening fast. I feel like it's with 2 cards like this, showing a really crystalline, kind of snowflakey, yeah, I mean, just very crystalline visuals, okay, which is really coming through as a lot of that transformation going on for you. And it's happening for all of us, but I feel like you're hitting kind of a speed spot, and you're hitting it twice, Okay, so you're doing all this amazing healing work. First of all, you have nothing but divine feminine cards. You have no men yet, which is incredible. Okay, so this is huge divine feminine healing, whether you're a man or a woman. In order for you to, if you're not already with a divine counterpart, if you're looking, if you're hoping for one, that person is doing the same thing, healing. Well, they're healing. They're not doing exactly the same thing, but they are working on themselves too. And once you get through this, I don't want to say if, once you move through this story, okay, that's when this person is going, you're just going to, I've said it from the beginning. If you're meant to be with someone, when you are healed enough, we're not going to be completely 100%, 1000% fully healed, either one of us. But when you get to the point where you are vibrating at the same exact frequency, which you are meant to do in your contract, right? That's one of the words right there, contract. There will be nothing that can keep you apart. Nothing. Okay. I don't care if you have dumped this person for your own good because there's so much going on and you just can't be with them right now. And you're so afraid that you have screwed it up. You've ruined it. You cannot, I promise you can't. So that 9-2, the 2 9s, and you're coming to the end of a cycle, end of this big healing. You will be healing this once and for all, this shame. And then I do see you turning around and helping others, either just by example. Maybe you will write a book about your experience, or it will be, you'll be speaking or something. You'll be sharing it somehow. Okay. You're going to be sharing it somehow. Your journey on how you healed shame around your divine feminine. And there's a lot of it. And society has perpetuated it. Okay. And we've allowed it. Okay. Ladies, we've allowed it. We let it happen. Okay. We needed this on some level or it wouldn't have happened. We let it, but that's why we're kind of running the show this time, because we've been suppressed. And so, and in any transition, transformation, evolution, ascension, right? Just like any healing, when we heal something, we tend to kind of go too far the other way for a little bit as we're feeling our way back to the center. Okay. So even on the grander scale, as we're healing the inflated masculine, I don't like toxic masculine, but as we're healing the warped masculine and the warped feminine, they're both warped. They've both been warped. But because the feminine has been down here and the masculine has been up here, we tend to kind of go whoop for a little bit until we find that balance, right? Okay. So let's get, I switched to the Magdalene deck. Now we're going to clarify. It's going to be a longer one. I apologize. We're going to clarify this first row, please. This purity coming through, this divine feminine healing around shame. Let's fill in that hole. Love. Oh my gosh. This came up for Cancer as well. Love. Love. Love for you has been incomplete. I can feel it, but like I'm trying to put it into words. When you have loved people, and this is not like, if you are a parent, you don't have any problems loving your kids. I'm not saying that. I'm saying other people, romantic partners, even family members, friends, love has felt incomplete is a good word, actually. Love has felt like you could never quite get there all the way, if that makes sense. You couldn't quite dig through all the shit and get to the real good stuff. Well, guess what? You're done messing around with that now. You are going to get to the good stuff, okay? Because you are connecting with this softer feminine, okay? I'm going to keep going because I feel like that's pretty easy to follow. Okay, so that fills in that hole. So we've got this purity, this divine feminine healing coming in around shame, and this just kind of realizing that it's okay to take your time. The world, you are going to know when the world is ready for your energy. And you need to sit with this gentle feminine energy anyway, because that's how you're going to really break through and feel. You're really going to break through. And again, I'm not saying that you don't have access to your unconditional love. You do as a parent, if you are a parent. And maybe you do, even if you're not a parent, with like 1 or 2 people in your life. But it's been just that, onesie, twosies, okay? And now you are breaking through to that unconditional love, that core, okay? And then it goes right into this beautiful, gentle, soft, feminine energy. Like you're going to break through and be like, oh, I don't have to be the fucking warrior princess. I don't have to be Xena every minute of the day anymore. I can be soft and gentle. And then, I mean, this is the divine feminine number and the twin flame number. And then that promise, that oath, that contract, that new life. This is a brand new path. Okay. Brand new. Everything is going to change for you. Everything. That's what I'm getting with this. I mean, think about when you get married. You know, if you've been married, when you get married, it changes everything. You live in it, for a lot of us anyway, right? You live in a new place. You have this new life partner. You maybe live in a new town or state or country, as was my case. Right after, you know, when we got married, everything changed. Everything was different. And you have been waiting for this. You have been waiting for this and longing for this. So it's coming. So I'm going to get a clarification on this gentleness, right? This change, this huge shift, this wedding, this rebirth. Give me a card to fill in that gap of the story, please, for Pisces. Purgatory. Okay. We're going to dive into this. Don't worry. So yeah. Okay. It's all right. So when, you know, when we go through these deep, intense healings, you're going to sit with this beautiful energy for a while. You're going to come out and be like, oh, this feels so good. And I love it. And then the divine counterpart, it's either going to deepen if you're already with this person. Somebody's going to come in. And it's going to be about the two of you then feeling your way through. Like, I feel like relationships in the past have felt very stagnant, have felt like, you know, they're really, they don't go anywhere. Okay. You're going to both be working through this old energy. Okay. Because your contract is much, much deeper and more long lasting. Okay. You don't need to be stagnant or stuck. You're going to both be aware of this. Oh, my poor eye. It's just more confirmation, you guys. This is happening. Every time I have to dab at it, my leaky eye. But it's coming through as this kind of like, yes, you're finally conquering this old pattern of not a lot. And it's because you've broken through to this unconditional love. Finally, you have cracked open that hard shell around your heart that you have only let one or two people in up until now. Okay. And again, I think even if you're with your divine counterpart, the person you believe is your divine counterpart, you have not completely and fully let them in. You just haven't. So when you're able to do that, you're both going to really see each other in kind of a new light, but you're both also going to realize that you've got this kind of old, like, what's keeping you from being truly happy. One of the things, yes, you're on the healing journey, right? And that's going to help every step of the way. But one of the things that's keeping you on this, in this kind of push-pull relationship, when you know it's meant to be, you know it's good. But the good as the good is, that's how bad the bad is, right? And it's not abusive, right? It's not a narcissistic relationship, but it's just a very intense, like, you're always pushing and pulling each other, and it's exhausting. And it's because you're healing this old energy, this old hamster wheel, this old pattern of doing everything you can to keep other people from getting really to the core of your heart. Okay. Now that you've cracked that open, you can both for both of you, like, this other person's not going to come through unless they've done it too. And so now that you've cracked that open, you can heal this pattern. Okay. So that's awesome. So let's get the last card. This is the top right corner of the card. Let's clarify this whole story. Let's just do it. For Pisces, please. Oh, you guys, like, it just, this whole reading just screams divine union and divine counterpart. How do you like that? Is that a good card to end with, you think? The good stuff, you guys. Come on, the good stuff. And I love that this is coming right after the wild hunt. It's like you're hunting for that perfect partner, right? But you don't need to, because you don't need to be this fierce warrior goddess anymore, this huntress. You don't need to be her anymore. You get to be this soft and gentle goddess, okay? Who's still powerful. You are still, in fact, more powerful than ever, because you've also got this beautiful crone energy coming through. Mary Magdalene, I feel like Yeshua and Mary Magdalene come through. They're kind of like the patron ascended masters for those who have signed contracts for divine unions in this life. And, you know, we've got this whole twin flame kind of enigma. I just kind of wrap it into all divine counterparts. Like it's some of them are meant to just heal and then you say goodbye. But the true divine counterparts are the ones that last until death and beyond. Okay. And so this is your final card. And that's amazing. I mean, this is huge sacral healing, huge sacral healing. Some people say sacral. I was trying it out. So do I want to get it? No. So what I'm going to do now is I've got this beautiful deck from a friend. It's called the Illuminate deck. It's very soft. It's recycled cardboard, or that's what it feels like. And it's really amazing. And it's a nice big deck. And it's just beautiful, simple messages on the cards. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a final message from your guides. All right, Pisces. And then you're going to have this beautiful story to look forward to unfold. And again, remember, you know, these types of readings aren't meant to scare you or intimidate you or make you think you got to, you know, do things to batten down the hatches, right? Or to prepare. There really isn't any preparing. This whole story is telling you the energy that's coming, and you're going to react or respond exactly as you're supposed to, okay? For whatever you're ready for, all right? But this is your path that's coming up. And I mean, look, you got, this is your first card and this is your last. So I don't know what more you need to hear, except that you really are coming into union with your divine counterpart. And I do feel like this is speaking mostly to the divine feminine. Goodness gracious. Coming into union with your divine masculine in the external, like this other person. You're doing it inwardly though. Remember, you're doing it within your own energy. And then that other person appears, right? If they haven't already. A lot of people are choosing to meet their divine counterparts and work through their healing journeys together. And that's beautiful. It is really challenging, you guys. If you have been sitting there wishing, oh, but I just want this, I want that, I want this. Talk to somebody who is in union and how hard it is. Okay. How hard it is to be in union while you're still healing. Okay. So just know that if you have a very strong longing for a divine counterpart, then you have a divine counterpart coming if you don't already have one. And it's going to come in exactly when you're ready. So if it's not here yet, then you're not ready and they're not ready. Okay. So just be patient. Where was that patience? Wasn't there? Yeah. Just be patient. Let yourself embroider the unicorn when you're done sitting in that kind of new energy, you know, that once you've kind of dug through the fierceness, you know, the survival. And again, I'm not trying to say that the fierce warrior goddess energy is bad, but we have used it to survive. And we have forgotten our gentleness. We have forgotten our patience. We have forgotten that unconditional love is our superpower as divine feminine beings. Okay. And again, obviously I'm speaking to those who are embodying the divine feminine more so than the divine masculine in this incarnation, no matter what your package looks like. So that's a pun. No matter what the shell you chose looks like. Okay. If you are divine feminine, then unconditional love is your superpower. That's what you're tapping into here. You're letting go of having to have that hard shell up around your heart, around your beautiful heart. Let it open, let it be raw and vulnerable. Expose it to everybody because it is more powerful than you give it credit for. Unconditional love and gentleness and softness and warmth is not weakness. Okay, that's one thing you're going to be healing. And I know you know this, but you're about to know this. Okay, so let's get a final message from your guides, Pisces, for this time period coming up August 12th through up until possibly September 15th-ish. Okay, wherever you're at. Let's get a final message from your guides. What do your guides have to say? I have to close my eyes. I learn from my experiences. Yep. So up until now, and this goes for everybody. This is not just Pisces, right? But this is coming strong for you because you're going to be healing old patterns that previously you were just stuck in them and couldn't learn from them because you didn't know how to get off the hamster wheel. Okay. The whole thing was you letting go of the hard shell, the armor, the warrior, getting in touch with your patient, soft, gentle, feminine side, not small, okay? Just soft, okay? And cracking open that heart once and for all. Like, come on, Pisces, let people in. It's time. Let this divine counterpart in. And so this is how you're going to be breaking old patterns, because you will now be able to learn from your experiences. And I'm not saying you haven't learned anything ever, right? I don't want you to read anything into that, but damn, you've got a deep healing. And again, I just want to show you overall energy, final energy. I don't feel sorry for you at all, Pisces. All right. You've got some good shit coming. I'm just seriously. If you're already with that person, this is just going to get more fun. This is just going to get better and better and better. But you do have some healing coming, okay? I do feel like this is a lot easier. I remember July, your July reading was really intense healing, you know, possibly walking away from somebody, okay? Again, walking away from somebody doesn't mean they're gone forever, right? We have to remember that. Like, we have to walk away from people all the time and trust that if they're meant to be in our lives, they will show up again. So I do feel like this energy is you've got a much better handle on it. It's not going to be as traumatic. It's not going to be as hard. Okay. It's going to come a lot easier. This cracking open of your heart is just going to be a real emotional journey. Okay. Not in a negative way, but just more like, wow, you're just going to feel such a big heart for everybody, for everything in the world, for Gaia, for, you know, people who live on Venus. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're going to be just feeling love for everybody and everything. Okay. And, yeah, I'm going to call it. I'm trying to keep them below 45, but oh well, we got right at it. All right. Thank you, Pisces, for being here. I really appreciate all of you. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. You know, if you know somebody who would benefit from this, please share it with them. You know, and again, if you're curious about what your chart would look like in the 13 zodiac system, the link is below. The link to buy this deck made by a dear friend of mine, Anthea Spark, is also below. They're really, really nice cards. They're beautiful, simple messages. She makes other decks as well that are lovely. So those links are below. And thank you for joining me. And I will see you next time. You have a beautiful, beautiful journey ahead, Pisces. You got this. You just worked through the worst of it. Love you.